Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you guys for tuning in. You are in the lab if you already did not know that. I am your host, Coach Clee, but we're in the lab where we tell everyone to get your pen and your pad because we're going to take some notes. We're going to learn something and we're going to have some fun doing it. Okay. This is the show where we highlight people who have a business, a product, or a positive message. We ask them to come in the lab, tell you guys get your pen and your pad, and we share that information. Again, if you've got a business, product, or positive message at the end of the showcase and you're willing to share that information, inbox me, text me, get a hold of me, and you too can reserve your seat to be in the lab. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. We are currently streaming on YouTube. We are on Facebook on Coach Clee, and we are on Clark Tent. If you make comments on Clark Tent, I cannot see them. We are also on LinkedIn. We're streaming live from those 4 platforms right now. And if you are into listening to podcasts, we will have the stream for Anchor for Spotify hooked up by tomorrow morning. So make sure you tune in, make sure you share it, make sure you like it, let your friends know. We're going to have a wonderful conversation here today. If you didn't already know, I'm your host, I'm Coach Clee. I'm your content creator, your book publisher, your favorite baker, podcast hosting March 4th. And thank you guys for tuning in because like I said, like you see at the bottom of the screen, you see the website. It's workwithclee.com. And you also see the Cash App. The Cash App is for donations for the show so we can better enhance the show because we're moving forward. The revamping process is currently taking place mid-month of October. So stay tuned for some more special shout outs for different sponsors and different guests that will currently be on that show as well. But you see the website, workwithclee.com. And on the website, you'll see upcoming guests for the live. You will also see the first book published by One Way Publishing, March 4th. There's a motivational empowerment book on helping you find your own breakthrough. We talk about toxic people, toxic situations. We talk about taking care of yourself. We talk about health. We talk about drinking water. This is written by yours truly, the first book I ever wrote. March 4th, that's on the website. The second book that I was involved in is a collaboration book. Herb Thompson, Jason Brown, Clarence Stokes, and myself wrote No Shade, All Light. It's 25 of our favorite quotes, and it has a special meaning behind each quote. So it's 100 quotes in this book. It can be used as a devotional. That's also on the website. Make sure you guys check that out. That's a collaboration book. The book that I wrote, the third book I wrote, came out last June, right at the height of COVID. #Grudge. Les Brown says it best. Holding on to a grudge is like holding on to a hot piece of coal, expecting the person that you're angry with to feel the effects, as instead when you should just let go of that thing and start the healing process. And then we talk about that. We talk about anger. We talk about mistakes. We talk about holding on to grudges. And we talk about it's a roadmap on living a better life. That's on the website. And definitely last but not least, we have the lab. The first version. We've been doing this podcast for over 3 years now. We've had well over 200 guests on the show. Of those 200 guests, 44 of them decided to have their segment highlighted in the lab. So there's 44 chapters in this book, and it talks about their businesses, products, and positive messages in the lab itself. That copy is available on the website, and you can get a hold of me. I do have a few on hand. They make great stocking stuffers for the upcoming holidays and things along those lines. And definitely, last but not least, I do have to talk about the book publishing company that we're the CEO that myself and Shayla do own. It is One Way Publishing, and we coined the phrase: we can get you from a mere thought to a book that's bought. I like to say, if you have ever thought about writing a book, if you ever thought about being an author and you don't know what steps to do, let us know. We can get that thought transfigured into a finished product, a completed product, a professional product to you in a reasonable amount of time. That's One Way Publishing. That is a side tangent from the lab itself. But Shayla, are you ready? I'm moving to you for Shayla's showcase. I hope you're coming up because she says I always do it differently. So I'm trying to give her the heads up for it. Am I doing it differently? I'll see you backstage. She's getting ready to come up right after this.
See, just like I said, normally, look at my ends. They look a little rough, but Coach Clee, normally you unmute me and you did not, so I was not prepared. But anyway, this week's Shayla Showcase, I'd like to give a shout out to the Harrisburg area YMCA, the Camp Curtin branch, where they offer a variety of youth programs during the school year and also during the summer. They also have organized sports like basketball and lacrosse, and they also offers, affordable memberships and programs. Cornerstone in Uptown Harrisburg is a new venture. It is designed to eliminate blighted, vacant lots, reduce crime, and create affordable housing for homeowners and more. So that is to come with the Y. Then we also have Flavor 76, which offers a variety of weekly lunch and dinner specials. Make sure you check them out on Facebook at Flavor 76. And then I like to give a shout out to Jay Moore, who always does our website, keeps everything up to date. He just sent us an email to make sure we get all the October information uploaded. So always appreciate him staying on top of everything. And that's all I have for this week's Shayla Showcase.
Shayla, guess what I just did? I backed out the video for Flavor 76 by accident. So I need you guys got to stand by. I got to pull this video back up.
That's what happens when you try to be slick and do stuff to me.
I wasn't. Give me 1 second.
Or you could just do it at another time.
No.
New week, new meal with Flavor 76. This week we had chicken, fish, and potatoes. Make sure you follow them on Facebook at Flavor 76.
Banging. Flavor 76. Make sure you order yours today. Brought to you by One Way Publishing in the Lab. Tune in. So, Shayla, you did a wonderful job doing Shayla Showcase. I truly appreciate it. Again, like we did last week, we're going to do things a little differently. And Shayla is going to do the intro of our guest. Some of you may know our guest, some of you may not, but tune in, tag, like, and share, hit the like button on your way in. We're going to have a wonderful show here in a minute. I'm bringing Shayla on right now. Shayla, there you go.
Good evening again. So I'm pretty excited about tonight's show. Oh, I didn't know I was going to be on the screen by myself, but I'm excited about tonight's show and our next guest. I actually like to take credit for tonight's guest and last week's guest. But anyway, Coach Clee probably won't let me take ownership of that. But anyway, it's more important for us to get to this wonderful guest. She is a wife, she's a mother, she's a mentor, a friend, an amazing person. I get the pleasure of working with her. She's brought so much to the organization, and certainly I appreciate her guidance and support and leadership for sure. But she's currently the Vice President of Mission Effectiveness, Diversity, and Inclusion at UPMC Central PA. Can we bring to the stage, I guess? I was going to say show, Coach Clee, Tina Nixon.
Hi.
Tina, how are you? Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well this evening. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. Thank you. We're in the process of revamping the show, so it seems like that we're kind of we're building the plane as we fly it. However, we're having fun, and I'm excited to have you in the lab. But like Shayla said, she's taking credit, even though that we discussed behind the stage, backstage earlier before we started recording, that you came to her. She didn't come to you about coming on the show. Is that correct?
Shayla, I did see you on the show, and I saw the show. I watched it on LinkedIn, and I was like, how do I get on that show? Because I love the platform that you have and what you're doing here. And not only, providing resources, but educating the community. And, it's just great. I think it's phenomenal that you have this platform and that you're able to impart words of wisdom to those who may need it throughout our community.
Absolutely. And we have fun doing it. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I know she does too. She's no longer on the platform itself. But Tina, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Sure. Quickly, I can tell you, I don't like talking about myself much, but born and raised in Harrisburg, grew up in many areas throughout the city, and started out at in the Harrisburg School District, and then I transferred over into Catholic school.
Okay.
And I went from 8th grade through graduation, went to St. Francis, and then went to McDevitt. From there, went to East Stroudsburg University. I got a dual degree in political science sociology. And from that point, I was actually going to Penn State at Penn State Middletown to get a degree in curriculum development to teach. But I then decided that that wasn't something for me at that point. So looked at doing things in government with my political science degree, and worked in government for a little bit. But then I really had a passion for advocacy and worked for a statewide anti-hunger organization for a few years, where that's really where I was able to build my passion for helping others. And I should say, let me say this. At a very young age, I saw my mother and her ability to help others with limited resources. And I knew that that is just something that it was embedded in me at an early age. And it's just something that I'm truly passionate about doing.
Gotcha. Is that what led you into your, like Shayla stated, that you're the vice president at a local organization here? Is that what led you into your position now?
I would say my passion for helping people led me to my position, several positions. I worked for the statewide anti-hunger organization, and from there I worked in a community action, Berks County Community Action Commission. From there I went on to work at the YWCA, and I think my tenure at the YWCA and seeing the great need in our community and wanting to figure out the root causes and how we really go about addressing those root causes is why I said yes to the position I'm currently in. Now, mind you, when I was at the YW, we had really strong programs there, really helping women, children, and men. I'm going to say we were the first organization to do a homeless veterans program in our area. And so we were just helping the community in a variety of different areas. And so I was on the board of Pinnacle Health. And when our former CEO, he called me in his office one day before the board meeting and said to me, he said, "Hey, did you know Miss Barbara Terry's retiring?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I didn't know. Like, you don't know." And I said, and he said, "Every time I bring up the position and what she does, your name comes up." And I said, "Really? My name?" And it's so funny how things happen and how, and I true believer, the higher being aligns things for you. I met Miss Barbara about probably 3 or 4 years before that when she was doing the community health needs assessment. And she came into my office at the YW. And I said, and she's talking about what she does. And I said, "That's such a cool position that you're able to assess the community, find out what's going on." And then she said, "I'm also a nurse, and she's also a Baptist preacher." And I was like, "Oh, wow. Okay." And when she told me she was a nurse and she told me what she did, and she, She told me, I was like, you know how you think, oh, I'm not a nurse. I'm not about that. Like, that's not for me. But then when I was talking to the former CEO and he talked about this position, I was just, the first thing I said is, I'm not a nurse, and I don't want to be a nurse. I don't want to touch people. That's not my thing. So he was like, no, you don't need to be a nurse, but your background in helping the community, and the YWCA's mission was eliminating racism, empowering women. So I've been working in this racial justice realm for over 15 years. And then I looked at him and I thought, I don't know if I want to work for you. Let me think about it and I'll get back to you, because healthcare is one of those industries. It's constantly changing. That's one thing that is constant about healthcare. And I thought, I had my own show, I had my own organization. I was the lead of the organization. And do I want somebody to tell me what to do? Oh, no. I don't know. I had to process that. But then I started thinking about what I'm really passionate about, and that's the community. And how can I use my God-given talents to help those in the community and help uplift, women and children and those who have barriers. So I did my pros and cons. I did my list. I talked to my family, and my family, they're my number one cheerleader. And they said, Mom, do it. You need to do it. And so I stepped into this realm knowing a little bit, minimal, about healthcare, and thought, how they say, fake it till you make it. And so, I was doing a little bit of that, taking notes. I'm a note taker. So I even took notes during your introduction about the different books and everything, and Flavor 76 with the food looks good. And my husband always loves a good meal. So I'm going to check them out too.
Oh yeah, you got to check them out.
And so, I did my homework, and I thought, in this position, it really marries well into my commitment to making changes for the community. Something that I am very passionate about is that, access, opening doors, having folks that look like us sit at the table. So, and I love Shayla's introduction, and I always say, it's not about me. I truly identify myself as a servant leader. It's about lifting up others, putting others in that space that sometimes we don't have access to, and moving people along that continuum, which is so important, especially for women of color. And so and understanding, being a true advocate at heart, being in those spaces, which are sometimes very uncomfortable, because sometimes I'm the only one that looks like me in those spaces. But I have developed the courage to speak up and speak out. My mama always said, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And when you're given the opportunity to help others, that's what you're supposed to do. So every day when I go in and go to work, that's what I think about. And I just hope the legacy that I leave is that no matter what we do, there's action put behind it, and it's for the greater good. It's not just about me.
Right, absolutely, and I think the legacy that you will lead is, and you can hear the passion coming through your voice, and we can all see that you truly like to help people and make society better. How long have you actually been in the position that you're in now?
5 years. It'll be 6 years in May.
Okay, all right.
6 years in May.
And with the position that you have now, I know you deal with a wide array of things along with healthcare, with diversity and inclusion, and just getting information out there. Can you share some of the programs or the events that you've been involved in with the community itself?
So under my umbrella, we have our community health initiatives. So there's many things that we do under mission effectiveness. And I would start by saying, what I oversee, not only the community health initiatives, but spiritual care, which is entwined in the community, and volunteer services. So that's all under my umbrella. Some of the initiatives, some of the recent initiatives that we've been involved in is really looking to make sure Black and brown folks have access to the COVID vaccine and COVID testing, and doing pop-up clinics and calling people. And it's so funny. Dr. Reverend Brenda Alton reports to me, and we were talking today, because I was like, what was that date we did that clinic for all the churches for 65 and above? And she's like, I can't believe it's not embedded in my mind, because we did the COVID vaccine clinic. And I'm going to tell you, somebody must have written my phone number on the bathroom wall. I had folks calling me from all over that wanted to get this shot. And I thought, they were just like, we actually vaccinated that day. We had the clinic over 350 plus 65 and older Black and brown people. When I got back into my office, that was a Friday. When I got back into my office on Monday, I had 100 more voicemails. Wow. I thought, oh my goodness. But we were able to meet that need. We also, through this COVID, we went out to Jackson Link and were able to set up a clinic there. We went to the Latino community to be able to set up there. We went to the Nepali community and worked together to set up a clinic so that individuals could get vaccines. So we've been doing a lot around making sure access to the vaccine in communities of color where people have limited resources and many barriers. And so that is one of the projects. Also, under my umbrella, we do what we call street medicine, and outreach to the homeless, and making sure that in the beginning of COVID, one of the things that I helped support not only Dauphin County, but Dauphin County, York County, Cumberland. How do you navigate homeless folks if they get tested positive for COVID, and what do we do, and where do we go? And so we set up systems in all those counties to make sure those folks were taken care of. I personally put together, and I was just talking about this earlier, like care kits where I put hand sanitizer, gloves, masks, paper towels, bleach wipes, other, things that people need when they're in a hotel that the hotel may not have access for. I did close to 100 of those bags personally and delivered them to, individuals that were in the shelter. I am fortunate, and I say I'm fortunate because I have folks that work under my umbrella who believe in what they do is their life mission, as I do. Mm-hmm. I'm fortunate enough to wake up every day and be able to help someone. And so I have folks and I surround myself with folks that truly believe the importance of helping others, especially those that are in need. So another initiative that we're working on, and we've been working on for some time, is our Healthy Harrisburg initiative. And I cannot take credit for that initiative going as well as it is going. I can take credit that it was kind of my brainchild. I thought of it, but the way it has rolled out and has been implemented throughout Harrisburg has been wonderful. I have to give a shout out to Jankel Adams, who was there at the table, as well as Crystal Turner Childs and Dr. Collins Cream and Reverend Dr. Brenda Alton. Sometimes I think of these things and then I think, oh, I don't know how this is going to work, but you guys figure out how it's going to work, because I think it's a good thing. And so, they have, especially Jane Cal, she's kind of like the project manager. She's pulled this all together, and this project is really about, and something I saw that wasn't happening is people with chronic disease, diabetes, heart disease, COPD, high blood pressure, all those things. In certain zip code areas, people don't have access to gyms. And, if you're like me, I like to work out with. I need someone directing me, telling me, "Okay, Tina, lift these weights." I'm not motivated enough to be able to go out and run 10 miles or do anything like that. I don't
Right.
run if a dog is chasing me. So let's. I'm not a runner,
So get
but
back to your life then.
yeah. So, but I saw the access not available, and those who were in the fitness umbrella that you see are people that look like us. So
Mhm.
I was very deliberate about saying, if we do this program, I want Black and brown instructors. I want people that look like us, and I want it to be a program where people want to do things like soul line dancing, hip hop step.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
hard. I don't know if you ever tried that.
I have not. I have not.
You should try it. It's a good workout. It's a good cardio workout. African drums,
Mhm.
exercise, yoga. Again, a walking program. We start the walking program over at City Island. Do not go to City Island at 6 o'clock in the morning because it's skunk heaven. There skunks live there. That's their territory. They don't care if you're there. They just walk around like they own the place. They have no manners. So don't do that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you don't want to
um,
sleep either.
we have ambassadors that help us with this program. We
Mhm.
do a pre-assessment every cohort, and I have to say, I am so excited that we're able to do this in my hometown and get people engaged and get people thinking about their health, because a lot of people think of healthcare as something that someone should do for them.
Mhm.
We need to change our mindset and think healthcare is something I need to do for myself. And
Mm.
I need to make sure that I'm doing and reading and doing the research to make sure I'm making the best decisions for myself. I know my mother's generation, God rest her soul, she
Mhm.
believed everything the doctor would tell her, and would never do the research to check in to make sure.
Mhm.
I think we, as people of color, because we are impacted at a higher rate than our white counterparts, that we need to take hold of our health care and do the research and do what we need to do to make sure that we are healthy, and make sure our children are healthy. When you look at these disparities around people of color, pregnant women dying at a higher rate for during childbirth. When you
Wow.
look at obesity, when you look at cancer,
Mhm.
we don't do what we need to do to make sure that we are getting our regular checkups, and we're doing eating right, and exercising. Those are so important. And I think as I got older, I started to realize that.
Mhm.
And so being in this position and being able to help others move along that continuum from infants to the elderly is so important for me.
Mhm.
It's very important.
I see. And so I like what you said about basically changing the narrative of healthcare for yourself to actually take care of yourself and do your own research. I think I know me selfishly. I again, when I was in the army before I was in the current occupation I'm in now, and so most checkups were mandated. The ones that weren't, I wasn't going. I felt like
Mhm.
I was healthy enough. I was in shape. I could eat whatever. We ran all day, every day. We pushed for eternity, did push ups for eternity. So I felt like I could eat whatever I want. I could drink whatever I wanted any time of the day, whether it's midnight, whether it's the afternoon, whenever. And then, like you said, as I started getting older and be more conscious about my body, the more the hair that I was losing and as it was turning gray, I was understanding that even no matter what physical activity I may have been doing, I still need to get my daily checkups or my annual checkups. I still need to get physicals. I still need to go in and see the dentist, and so many different things. The little things are what gets you, and a lot of things can be preventable if they're caught in an early enough stage.
And that's one of the things that I think, especially with our community of color, there's such a distrust in healthcare providers simply because of our history and
Mhm.
the way it has impacted us. But like any corporation, healthcare is a business. They want your money. So you should go in. If you're spending your money, if you're going in, regardless if you have, if you pay for your own insurance, if it's employer paid insurance, if it's Medicaid, Medicare, that you're still generating income. So you need to make sure you're going in and understanding your body and what's going on inside your body, and making sure you're asking the questions and doing the research. We're fortunate enough now that you can Google things and see what's going on, and you can take the what is it, the 23andMe, to understand your DNA and those type of things. I think there's so many more resources than there used to be, but we have to make sure that we are accountable to ourselves, and making sure we're asking the questions, and making sure we know how certain drugs are going to impact us if we take them. Because sometimes I listen to these commercials, and they talk about a certain drug that you can take for, and I'm just making this up, that you can take for a headache. And when you hear about the side effects, I'm like, shoot, I don't know, I'll have a headache, because it causes this, that, and the other. But I think it's important when you talk about your self-responsibility is asking those questions and doing that research. And especially during this time that we're in with COVID, there is so many conspiracy theories, there's so many misnomers, there's so much out there that people truly believe. People think, oh, if I get the vaccine, I heard this, if I get the vaccine, I'm going to be tracked. I'm sorry, if you have a cell phone, you're going to be tracked. That's it. Like, if I get the vaccine, I'm going to be, I'm not going to be able to have kids. I have OBGYNs who want pregnant women to get the vaccines, who will talk about it and say, and will explain it to you. So education is key, especially when the time that we're in, because people will do things and say things because of our gullibility to believe them. And even though, when they talk about the history of, and I was just listening to this the other day when they were talking about the history of the Tuskegee experiment, it wasn't that they were injecting people with syphilis, they were just withholding the medication to treat them for it.
Oh, wow.
So we have to do our research to understand. And if you think about it, and you think about our history and think about what's going on now, and not getting the vaccine, do the research to understand how it's going to impact you, and how it's not only you, because it's not about you, it's the people that you interact with. I got the vaccine, and because my daughter needed a kidney transplant, my husband just recovered from cancer. And if I knew that I can protect them, the people that I love, I'm going to do it. Right. So it's about, don't be selfish, be selfless.
There you go. I know, listening to that, and I'm glad you shared all that information. It reminded me of my mother and my father's generation. I would hear the conversations while I was younger of, especially the older men. They would be like that. I felt fine. I don't need to go see the doctor. And then when I do go see the doctor, then bam, I'm diagnosed with something, or something's wrong. Nothing. If I don't go, then I'm fine. I don't have to worry about anything. They're just out there trying to get my money. They're just trying to have me be a repeat customer. They're just trying to get me on this medication and such and so forth. And the more you learn, the more you do the research, like I said before, and like you were expressing, you protect yourself, you protect others. And a lot of things you are preventable or can get treated in an earlier stage than in progressing and becoming something more serious.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, regular checkups, daily checkups, and you can shop around, and find someone that if it meets your needs, like I said, it's a business. And, if you go into a business, they don't treat you right. For me personally, if I go somewhere and I'm not treated right, I'm not going back, and that's not where I'm spending my money. Right. I'm going to do my research and find someone that is going to be open and acceptable and treat me the way I would like to be treated. A lot of times, I know a lot of folks don't have those options. But there's another layer to this, and it's about, making sure that people uphold and abide by the policies that we put in place. So it's making sure that if somebody's not doing what they need to do, we elect these legislators. Reach out to them. We pay them. They're not kings. Reach out, let them know what's going on. They're there to help us navigate some of the things that go wrong in our community. And I don't think we do enough of that. And I think, voting is key. And I'm going to say that voting is key. Every election, you need to vote, not just the presidential election, because people in positions of power, each election, your judges, your city council, your mayors, those are the folks that really are making decisions about your life. And you need to understand how your life aligns with what they're making decisions on. And so I'm a political science major, also sociology. So that's why, I bring this up. We have to encourage people to get out and vote. And, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but make sure it aligns with your own personal vision, mission, and, values. And if it doesn't, figure it out. Do the research.
Yeah, I want to kind of rewind back a little bit. I know you were talking about the COVID vaccine and different locations that you had events set up for multiple people, for elderly, for those that have been homeless. What kind of myths have you heard? I know you went through some of them that for OBGYN doctors, but what kind of myths have you heard that are totally not true about the vaccine?
So, and I'm not a doctor. And again, I hear myths where people think they inject you with some type of magnetic fluids. And I've just heard and people start putting spoons up to their arm thinking that it's magnetic. I heard folks say that it'll track you, some kind of tracking device in there. It causes impotent people to be sterile, and which is not true. Also, let me see what other one. So some folks, because of religious beliefs, and there's some folks that have talked about, there are people that are hired in church that in different denominations say absolutely not. It's, what really, when I hear these things, it's lack of education and lack of doing the research. And I just believe, like I said, there are a few doctor friends that I trust and believe. And I feel bad because I text them all the time, ask them all kinds of questions, but they respond to me. I text, Dr. Goldman, who is our epidemiologist at UPMC Pinnacle, does a great job explaining it. That poor man, I say, here's another crazy text for you. But he responds because he's passionate about, and he's brilliant, and he's been working in the whole infectious disease world for a long time. That's what he went to school for. That's what he knows. That's what he does. So I trust and believe, if he says to me, Tina, I just took my mother to get the vaccine. My mother, who I love dearly. When he talks about that, I think, okay, he's like, I'm not going to lead you wrong. So, find that trusted person that you can have these conversations and listen. And he does all types of panel presentations, but some of the things, even with my own family, I had to tell them, you know what, you're not vaccinated. You can't come to my house. And I had someone thinking that putting concoctions together like pine sol and turpentine is going to take it away. Like, no, people, that doesn't work. Stop doing that. So it's like crazy things. But, I say I was vaccinated early on, and I had no side effects whatsoever. And thank goodness, because I was able to be with my daughter during her kidney transplant.
Mm-hmm.
And so Dr. Goldman says, you either get vaccinated or you'll get COVID. And if you're vaccinated and get COVID, it's not going to be as as harsh as it would be with being unvaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
I lost an aunt to COVID. I know several folks that were vaccinated that it's not 100% foolproof. Nothing is.
Right.
But you have to do your part for your loved ones. And now we're seeing, children in this Delta variant and, how it's impacting them. But what I'm going to say to you, I'm going to say to you, I spent this past weekend working at our community general hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Our frontline staff, they are tired. They
Oh,
are
wow.
burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
They are overwhelmed. And it may not be COVID, but don't get in a car accident. Don't have a heart, don't go to the ED because they're overwhelmed. There's a wait time. It's we really need to look at this and say, what can I do to make this better? Get a vaccine.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Wear your mask.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting in the cold season. People are indoors, coughing and sneezing and everything, and especially when it's the change of weather, allergy season. People need to, we're not over this hump yet, and we need to work together as a community to get over the hump. And so we've been doing we were just at the Latino Festival at 13th and Dairy Street doing vaccines a few weekends ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so and it's a shame because we're there offering vaccines and not a lot of people are showing up. And we know from the data, there are a lot of people out there that are not vaccinated.
Right.
So we need to make sure that we can continue to communicate this. And there's I haven't heard any medical reason why you shouldn't get vaccinated unless you're under the age of 12. But again, that's the alarm we need to sound. And also the flu shot's coming up too. So, and everyone's like, well, we didn't have a big, outbreak of flu. That's because everybody was indoors last year. We didn't have school. Everything was virtual.
Everything was shut down. Yep.
Again, I'm not clinical. I'm not a medical doctor. I just know that from my experience with individuals and working throughout the community, it's better for us if we do what we need to do to take care of our loved ones.
Makes perfect sense. And like you were saying, the medical staff is overwhelmed by people coming in droves when it could be rectified by getting something simple as getting the vaccine itself. Let me ask you this. Since the world has been shut down due to COVID and it's starting to find the new norm or get back on its feet, how difficult is it to fill certain positions or recruit to fill open positions in different areas of the hospitals?
It's very difficult. And I'm going to say this, and, I know Shayla knows because she's a recruiter and she does this every day. So when I first started this position, I read data where it said in 2025, we're going to have a huge void in healthcare providers. And when I say healthcare providers, I'm saying doctor, nurses, medical assistants, those folks that do direct contact with patients. COVID has sped that up. We are now at the point where we are basically in crisis mode to get folks hired for these positions. And again, we are encouraging those who may have an interest in healthcare, come in entry level. We're giving, we're able to provide incentives for people that are coming into healthcare, where you can come in as a medical assistant and they will pay for you to get your bachelor's, your master's, even your PhD. It's not 100%, but a large chunk of that. And so if this is something that you're passionate about, I encourage folks to, do the research and look for those positions. We have, I think the last number, over 400 medical assistance positions open. And so we really need our folks to get into these positions. Our
Mhm.
youth, if healthcare is something that you want to be in, there's a variety of jobs in healthcare. It's not just direct patient, care. It's IT, it's recruitment, it is, social work. It
Mhm.
is, it is community health. It's organized. It's a variety of different spiritual care, volunteer coordination,
Mhm.
like employment, human resources. So there are so many jobs available in healthcare. We just really need to make sure that our community has access and opportunity to get these jobs. And that's one of the things that we're working on in this upcoming year is really looking at, especially in communities of color. You don't see a lot of people like me, in the leadership. There's a few of us, but not
Mhm.
many. There needs to be more. And
Mhm.
so one of my roles is to make sure that we are addressing that within our region. And so, in the summer, we'll be doing shadow, once everything opens up, shadowing, career exploration, and the other part of that is, when we talk about diversity and inclusion in healthcare and the different positions, um, people say, well, we have a lot of people in environmental services. That's all well and good, but what about the other positions where we need to see people that look like us? There's been tons of studies around, physicians of color treating patients of color and the great outcomes of that.
Mhm.
So, that is something that we're looking and we've been working on for some time. How do we attract and retain physicians of color into our community to care for our people?
Interesting. So
So,
if someone was watching this and they were listening to you right now and they're looking to expand or just to get an entry level career in the healthcare, how would they go about doing that? What steps should they take?
I would say go, whether or not you have a degree or don't have a degree, and what you're interested in, go online, apply for the job, and also, talk to our recruiters. We are having some, job fairs and things like that to help people navigate this complex system called healthcare. But I would go to the website and find something you're interested in. And if you want to just have a chat about, careers and career explorations, we can link you up with some folks that'll talk to you about that. So, and you have the website up there right now. I just
Yes, I
noticed that.
do. Yep, I was just going to say that. If for those who are watching, the website is listed right beside your name, www.upmc.com.
And so
Absolutely.
I would say, and talk to folks. And if you're in high school, and Shayla put up where the careers are, and if you're in high school, talk to your guidance counselors, because you may want to just do some volunteering to see if that's something you. A lot of people think, oh, I want to be a doctor. Oh, I want to be. I know when I was growing up, I wanted to be a doctor of nuclear medicine. But
Hmm.
then I figured out you had to touch people and all that other stuff. And I thought, no, I can't do that. I couldn't do that. So, I took a shift somewhere else. But you have to go, you have to know what it all entails, and in order for you to figure out if it's right for you. And I'm a true believer, if your own mission, vision, and values don't match the company that you're working for, and you don't get up every day and think, thank you, Lord, for allowing me to do this, or I'm excited and this is wonderful, then you need to find something and it's something you're passionate about. And again, I get up every day and think that, not that my day goes that way all day long and I feel that
Right.
way all day long, because I
Right.
have to interact with human beings, and sometimes, they could just throw you right off track. But I will be honest, in what I'm doing and what I feel my own, personal mission, vision, and values are in, making the community better and helping folks. I start the day that way, and I'm very grateful I have this opportunity to be in service in this way.
Right. I know a lot of people are grateful for you. Let me ask you a hypothetical question. Let's say that there's a 12-year-old girl or boy that's behind the camera and they never heard of you and they're watching the live or they're watching the replay and they're getting all this wonderful information that you're sharing and they're like, wow, I want to get into healthcare or wow, I want to grow up and I want to be just like her. What kind of advice would you give that 12-year-old boy or girl?
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. So, education.
Hmm.
I truly believe, get your education, go to school, do what you need to do to continue to move forward,
Mm-hmm.
because understand no one can take that away from you. And there's a value in having that education.
Mm-hmm.
Volunteering, go out in the community, volunteer, and in helping others. The
Mm-hmm.
other thing I would say is if someone's asking you to do something, regardless of whatever industry you're in, and it's not a part of your job description,
Mm-hmm.
do it. Be a lifelong learner. And that's something, that I feel that helps me. I learn something new every day, a new word, a new concept,
Mm-hmm.
it's something. And be open to learning, regardless of how you grew up, where you grew up, the barriers that you face. If you are open to learning and growing and, being a part of something bigger than yourself, that helps you be able to move along the continuum. I always say I grew up single mom, dirt poor, lived at uptown on the hill
Mm-hmm.
projects. My mom robbed Peter to pay Paul, and did what she needed to do. I always say the best thing that she taught me was survival skills, which is great, and you need those. But the one thing that she imparted me is education. Do what you need to do to learn and grow.
Mm-hmm.
And for a girl like me, I always think a girl like me and the way I grew up, and my own personal journey and story, this sometimes the spaces and places I'm in, I'm thinking I'm not supposed to be here, but I am going to be here because I'm here, and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to take notes, and I'm going to figure out the next time who I can bring with me. And so I just think it's so important. You can't let how you're raised, where you're raised, be a barrier to you moving forward. And I know it's easier said than done. And
Mm-hmm.
I know, especially when people don't expect things from you. And it's not so much, people out there not expecting, it's sometimes our own family members. I
Mm-hmm.
remember one time my aunt said to me, you're probably going to be pregnant before you graduate from high school.
Hmm.
And I thought, no, I'm not. And it was that ability to be able, and and I'm going to use the grit and the resilience to prove people wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Because a lot of times people write you off simply because of the situation that you're
Mm-hmm.
in.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to understand you can't write yourself off.
Mm-hmm.
I saw my life as two. I can go down this road, I can go down this road. And because I was able to see past some of the things in my environment, I was able to travel the road. Believe me, it was bumpy, and there was some mountains and valleys and all that stuff I had to,
Yeah.
but it's all based on making sure that and proving people are wrong and believing in yourself, and making sure the access to education is important no matter what's going on around you. And I was on the board of the Joshua group, and hearing some of those kids' stories about
Mm-hmm.
couch jumping and parents in jail
Mm-hmm.
and domestic violence, drugs, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But education is what will lift us out of poverty. And I think it's so important that kids need to hear that.
Yep. I think we're good. We got all right. Yep. I know it froze for a minute. Good answer. Good answer. Thank you. Thank you. And I see on the stream, on the Clark Tent stream, I can't put the comments up on the page itself. I see Junior Gonzalez is watching. Thank you guys. I see Floyd Stokes is on. Floyd said, great question, great answer, great responses to you, Tina. Continue to be a lifelong learner. He likes that comment. We're on with Tonya Champong and we're on with Charles Croft. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit the like button on your way in, tag, like, and share. And you said a bunch of wonderful things. In describing that, let me ask you. You kind of touched on it a little bit, as in one situation, at least, that may have changed the trajectory of your life with the comment from your aunt. But is there a certain book? Is there a certain person? Is there a certain situation that changed your life for the better? Like your life was going a certain certain direction, and then you read that book, you had that conversation or met that person or that situation changed the course of your life to where you were going this way, and then you went just like that. And if so, can you share it with us, please?
So I wouldn't say there is a certain book because I read books all the time. I have this book that I'm reading right now, which is Every Good Endeavor, and it talks about why you do what you do. So I have a lot. If you would see my desk, I have books all over. And someone always asks, Tina, what are you reading now? So this is what I'm reading currently, and I think every book that I read, I take something away from it. But I have to honestly say, my mother teaching me survival skills, my grandmother teaching me the ability that no matter what, she would always say this because, again, being in those spaces and places where a girl like me shouldn't have been, she would say, the Lord only puts on you what you can handle. Mm-hmm. You can do this. I mean, through college, I would call crying, laying on the floor at 2 a.m, trying to type some paper or something like that. Mm-hmm. And she was a true inspiration and role model. And then I would also say my friends who, had a different life than I had, but would always make me feel that I was better than where I came from. And mm-hmm. So it's not just one particular aha moment. It's a combination of the people that you connect with, the people that you build relationships with, mm-hmm. the people that you truly trust that help you move forward. And as I said, God rest her soul, my sister Angie, she was my number one cheerleader also. My sister Lori, who, she's still I love dearly. Mm-hmm. They different things that you get from people in your life at the times that you need them that help you, just take that next step. Mm-hmm. and be able to move forward. My children, and my children who grew up with me working at the YW and have heard and listened to some of the horrific things that we as adults do to children, mm-hmm. Are still inspiring and advocates in their own right. Mm-hmm. And really, are supportive. And my best friend, my number one homie, my husband, and he is not only my cheerleader, my supporter, will go above and beyond to make sure that I'm cared for. Mm-hmm. And just we've been married 25. It'll be 26 years. Oh, it'll be 26 years. I gotta remember that. It'll be 26 years. But he has been there through all my ups and downs and trials and tribulations for over the past 25 mm-hmm. years. And it's just, how you meet someone, you connect, and it's just, and I always say one potato, two potato, because that's how we are. Yeah. It's just like, I'm here for you, you're here for me. We've been through tough times. And I think, through all the tough times, we're now in the point in our life where we just want to have fun. We want to laugh. We want to live. We want to see what the future holds for us. But I have to thank all those people, all the people within my circles mm-hmm. that have supported me and given me, and I was able to take from them what I needed to fill my cup up.
Absolutely. That sounds interesting. And it sounds like the phrase iron sharpens iron. It wasn't one big event or one book that changed it. It was a series of events, a series of people, a series of different things where you surrounded yourself or got surrounded by the right people who effectively got to slowly mold you. Like the statue of David and Michelangelo was carving it out. He had to take his time and chisel each piece. And each interaction was just a chiseling of that piece till it formulated to, I hate to say a finished product because a product's never really done, but until it's a masterpiece, it's still at work, let's say.
Absolutely. And so, I learned from you earlier when you were doing your introductions that you help people write books. And my son told me the other day, Mom, you should write a book. And I said, okay. So I got my little journal and I started writing my book down. So I might have to look you up to help me finish writing my book. I only got 3 sentences though, so I got to figure out how that goes.
All right, absolutely, you came to the right place. I'm glad you said that because we can definitely get your book done. If you have a mere thought, we can turn it into a book that's bought. Absolutely, One Way Publishing can get that done for you.
That's awesome. Awesome.
Thank you. We had a wonderful conversation. I learned a lot. I had a lot of fun. Through the course of conversation, is there anything that I may have forgotten to ask you, or did we jog your memory? And is there something else that you would like to share with us? Right now, the floor is yours.
I would just say for all those that are out there listening, no matter, where you are in life, where we were born, how we were raised, it's the luck of the draw. You have to make the best of your situations and reach out for help if you need that. Connect with people that are going somewhere and doing something. And sometimes we have to disconnect from people that don't believe that you can have a better life than what you set out for. So, and sometimes that's hard, letting go and moving forward, especially with those folks that we love. But I think, for me, it's just, I established my own mission statement. And what I'm here to do and my values. And I always try to align my values in the work that I do and the people that I connect with. And so I feel that, I'm a real person. People may think, titles and the things that you have make who you are. But I don't believe that. I take each person as they come, in front of me and really just try to understand how we can navigate and walk this journey together and help those that are in such need of being helped and move them, to that role or that line of self-sufficiency. So I think collectively we have a lot of work to do, especially in the time that we're in. But I ask everyone, do your homework, do your research, reach out and get the answers that you need to make those intelligent, knowledgeable decisions about your own life. And also the one and the most important thing that you can do, and people talk about this all the time, is the self-care and looking at yourself and figuring out what you need to fill up your cup, because sometimes you just need to take a break from it all and I say woosah and be able to connect with folks that help you fill up your cup in a positive way.
I like that. Yes. Fill yourself up. It reminds me of the old phrase, a car can't run if you don't put gas in it. So you can have as many people as you want to help. You can have a good heart. You can mean well. But if you don't take care of yourself first, and this analogy, you being the car, you can't take anybody that'll fit inside that car in any direction until that car is running efficiently and effectively.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Coach Clay. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for letting me babble on. I told you I talk a lot. You didn't think I did. I told you in the beginning I did.
No, it's fine. You gave us a bunch of wonderful information, and it was a great show. It wasn't dragging on at all. So thank you very much for coming into the lab and telling everyone to get their pen and their pad.
So thank you. And if I can be of support in any way, you know how to get me. You know how to connect with me. So
absolutely,
keep doing what you're doing. Great stuff.
Thank you.
I love this positive stuff.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And for donating your time, I have a gift for you. I'll make sure it gets to you because once you come onto the lab and tell everyone to bring their pen and their pad, you're donating your time, you're donating your experiences, you're sharing these experiences as well. And me showing gratitude for you doing that, I have something that I'll make sure that I get to you. All right.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much. I
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yes, yes. And thank you guys. You guys keep tuning in. Hit the wrong one. You guys keep tuning in. We had a great conversation. Make sure you tag, like, and share. Hit the like button on the way out. If you guys are looking for, I put on the put on, and I say that to say this: if you're looking for a platform to put your business, your product, or your positive message out there, inbox me, text me, get a hold of me, let me know, and do it relatively soon because, like I said, the show is taking a major revamping mid-month of October. So make sure you get that information to me because if you've got a business product, positive message, we will schedule you a time to bring you on the show. We'll tell everyone to get their pen and their pad, bring you to the lab, and we'll share that information. We want everyone to evolve so hard and stay tuned. We got special, wonderful things coming down the pipeline. Tina, I know you're still backstage. We have a special guest coming to the lab next week. Do you know who the special guest is?
No.
You'll have to tune in and see.
Okay. I'll tune in to see. I'll
Perfect.
see. I'll see.
Absolutely.
Oh. I had to say, thank you, Shayla. You're awesome. You know I love you. You're fabulous. You do a great job. And you can take over the show anytime, but it's not my show, but you can.
Wow.
You did good.
Wow. I know she before she types her comment, we'll just log off so she can't even. No, she does do a great job. She does take over the show very often. But we have a lot of fun in doing it. So thank you guys, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. We had a wonderful show. Thank you, Tina, for making yourself available. It's your it's not your motivational speaker. Get right back at you. I knew she was going to say something. Sheila's right there. This is Coach Clee. You guys are tuned into the lab. It's your content creator, your book publisher, your favorite baker's pod hosting March 4th. Thank you guys for tuning in. We had a wonderful time. Take care of yourself. Wash your hand. Stay safe. Peace.
Peace. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.